I think some people can be weirdly obsessive with money. Yeah, I just find out with people is this greed that comes over people. Me, I'm someone, even when I haven't had a lot, I've helped people. More so in the past than present. I've set a lot of strong boundaries with people now. I don't let people take advantage of me. But in the past, I'd help people even if I had bills to pay, for instance, I'd still help people. I bought someone an iPod when they were a bit expensive, but this person just loved music. They had a flat and they were struggling where they were only had part-time hours. They wanted more hours. So I felt I was a bit of privileged position compared to them. And I just wanted them to have something nice. And it made me really happy, you know. And it's that level of, because that's what it is. We do good things because it's not only the right thing to do, it makes us happy. So we all benefit from it. It's not a one-way thing here where you're like, you're doing it to make them happy. You're doing it to make yourself happy too. I've always been someone that likes to see people doing well, you know, but it's always people who I feel are deserving. It's not always it's not always the most person who's struggling the most. That's the thing. We got to get away from that. Well, you don't, but I do. I wouldn't be pressured into helping someone, for instance. I wouldn't have someone tell me, "Oh, you can help that person. They need your help." It's like I'll decide who I'm helping. I always have a pull towards certain people. So like I'll see it, and I feel that spirit nudging me. So I'm on a spiritual journey. I would go where I feel called to go, and I wouldn't hesitate if I'm urged to do it, and it's a natural urge to help someone. You know, because I feel like some of us we're all here to sort of like impact upon each other. Sometimes good and bad, but sometimes it's part of our life path. I think to help someone in that moment. So it's not a case of helping everyone because it's impossible. You can't be a savior to every single person. You know, I think it's important that we take care of ourselves as well. So we have to be the priority of our own life. Then, when we're stable and successful, and when are able to help someone, we can. But it's really important that we don't just do a disservice to ourselves and make it seem like we have to forego our entire life and our existence and not have nice things too. So there's a balance to be had with it all. So there's people I meet, and I'm like in awe of talent, and I always see that I think they should be they should be doing better than they are. You know, I witness talent. I love talent. And it's not just talent; it's the attitude they have with it. You know, it's a sincerity, it's a purity. Um, and like I said, if you're talented, you have something special about you anyway. So if I had money, I've shared this person on here already. I did a video. I think their acting is incredible. You know, I'm looking on. I'm excited to see how their profile grows because I can see them going really far. And it's like to see someone's growth is a great thing. I love it. And they want to do acting classes and things, and I think they're amazing now. So imagine what they do with acting classes. You know, if I was in a position where I had wealth and I had money, it's people like that. I can see someone's working on their craft, so they're working really hard at something and they're fine tuning it. There's a passion within them, but it's not a lazy passion, you know? It's a passion. They're doing great things. They're doing it even when, you know, sometimes progress is slow. So they keep pushing forward and they still want to improve, you know? The fact that, you know, you could do that content and not say, I want to do acting classes. You think you're great already. And it's like, yeah, yes, you are. To imagine someone that's actually that humble in themselves and that they want to be that much better. They want to be so great at what they do. They want to do acting classes on top. Like I'm in awe of it, and like I say, spirit nudges us where we need to be anyway. So there's probably a reason I had to see their content anyway. So if I was wealthy, that's someone I would pay for their acting classes straight away. If I had money spare, boom, that's where it goes. You know, I don't need a fancy car. I don't need all this fancy stuff. You know, it'd be nice to have those things later on if you had a position of luxury. But I would help people on the way, and I'm not sure I'd really document it all, to be honest. A lot of the time, if I talk about it, I talk about it a long time after. So when I helped someone with an iPod, for instance, I didn't tell anyone about that until years later. No one even knew it ever happened until later on when I mentioned it. I think it was in my book or something. I just mentioned it then, you know, just to point out some things about like the kindness we can do in this world. Yeah, no one in my own life, personal life, knew about it. There was someone else I helped with their bills and things, and you do these things, you know. It's just like it's just kindnesses we do along the way. Um, So that's what I would like to do. And there's a video recently that turned up and said all the things I will do in my lifetime. It even mentioned something about charity. Now, I mentioned to someone few years ago, I think back in 2021, that if I was wealthy one day, I think I would like to create a charity because I wouldn't want to invest in a charity because I don't really know where the money goes. I would like to understand. I don't want anything. I wouldn't want anything going to waste. You know, if you've got a target in mind, then I think that's what you want to be putting the money towards, isn't it? So you know it's going to the right places, and that's why it's important you have your own charity if you're in a wealthy situation. I also like to see. Like I said, I like to kind people do well, and if I was in a restaurant or something, and then I recognise that someone's struggling, and but it's sincere struggles, and I can see through people anyway. I'm very good at seeing through bullshit. So there's no point someone acting to me and pretending like they're struggling, and I'll see straight through them. I'll know whether I want to help or not. Um, so that's pretty good. So that's really where I would help people. But like I said, I'm not really someone. If I met a celebrity, for instance, I'm not going to put a camera in their face. So I'm also not going to put. I'm not going to put a camera in the face of someone struggling either. If we both felt it's helpful to document it, I think then you can have that conversation and say, "Is this something you would mind?" And I think that's where you have the conversation. Have a decency about it. But it's not about promoting for yourself. Say, "Look how great I am! I do all these wonderful things." It's it's just the thing you do. It's nice to be kind. Um, and I really do. I like to see people do well. I really, really do. And I think it's nice you had a part in that. It's not take recognition of the fact that you made that happen. People make it happen. They make it happen for themselves. You can give people an opportunity, but it's up to them to sort of step through the door and do it. But you played a part in them getting the opportunity, and I think that's a nice thing to feel. When it's just a place of humility, though, it's not a case of, oh, look, I've got all these trophies. I did that for that person. I made that person great. I made that. It's not about that at all. It's I played a part and I helped them have that opportunity. After that, it's up to them to do it, isn't it? Um, yeah. So, but I really do. I like to see people do well. It's like a rags to riches story, but it's often just like even just like finding some sort of like fulfillment in their life. Um, yeah. I think there's too much greed in this world where people just like out for themselves. They won't even give any opportunity to anyone. They won't give it any. They won't even give anything, even if it's not a lot of money. They're just so funny with it, and it's like I don't understand that. Someone's struggling. I think it's about putting yourself in their shoes. Some people have never struggled or something, so they don't understand what struggle is. But the day everyone gets humbled eventually, and you'll realize what it's like. And I think it's never forgetting that either, though. So even if you get opportunity and your life becomes a lot easier, never ever forget where you come from. I know what it's like not to be able to pay your bills. I know what it's like to have debts mounting. I know what it's like to have all that pressure on you all the time. I know what it's like. So I know what it's like for someone else going through that too. But I think it's the small acts of kindnesses that help, that are great. I really do. I don't think you have to be so like crazy because that's the thing. If you help someone, let's say you was wealthy and you went and you saw someone struggling, so you buy them a house. Well, that's not sustainable. You can't buy every single person a house. I think that's such a big grand gesture that's really impossible unless you was ridiculously wealthy. But I think you can help people. Let's say you see someone's really struggling and their washing machine's broke or something and they really need a washing machine. And I was in a position to help. Let me help you get a washing machine. I did that for my niece, actually. I didn't have loads of money. It was like, but I knew I'd get money next month. I think it was an oven or a washing machine or dishwasher. Something broke. I think it's a washing machine. And I said, look, I'll take care of it. If you need a washing machine, I'll just get it. I'll get it for you. No one else is bothering. Other people have heard about this situation before even come around to me. In the end, I think my mum did it. She's got she get it on a credit. It's a bit easier for her. But I was more than happy to do it myself. I was like, I'll do it. Um, and that's what it's like. It's people I think are deserving though, because my niece can be like do kind things for people. She helps my mum. It's only people that do a kind thing that I would help though. I think because otherwise, some people need to humble themselves and find that in themselves. Someone that never helps anybody, I think when they're struggling, they're gonna have to learn what it's like to struggle. I think because if you save the day and that they don't learn anything, so if they're not a very kind person at their core and they're struggling, then they're going to have to go through that level of learning then, aren't they? Because otherwise they won't humble themselves. They'll never know. They'll always think someone saves them and they're self-entitled. So that's where I would help people. I'd help kind people. That's what it is. Kind people who I think are deserving of relief. really. It could even be someone that's doing okay for themselves, but they need a break and need some pampering. So you help send them to a resort or something so they can go. I think do things like that, change people's lives for the better, you know. And I think that's a great way to